how is it that we have had count them, four of these monster movies, and I've only cared about like three of the human characters? Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about what is supposed to be the conclusion of the MonsterVerse movies, being that this movie's making money. I seriously doubt it. I think they'll try to squeeze one more out of this. Today we're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Kong. I will warn you, I'm probably going to spoil this movie, but let's be honest. Like me, you probably thought the exact same thing, and I will talk about what that is here in a second. You thought the exact same thing was going to happen in this movie. That did. And if you want my advice, look, it's like the other ones. Look, Kong Skull Island is probably my favorite out of all of them. I will say that's because I thought, first of all, I had two of the three human characters that I've liked in this whole franchise so far, or that I at least cared about. Even though one of them, that would be Ken Watanabe's character, you wanted to know more about him, but you didn't find out a whole lot about him. You had Samuel Jackson's character, who you just enjoyed watching him go crazy. And then you had John C. Reilly's character, who actually had a compelling story that they had to show an ending to, which in Kong Skull Island, I thought that was great. So you had those characters. You had one character in this movie that I enjoyed, but you really got to know nothing about him, and that was the podcaster, the conspiracy theorist podcaster, played by Brian Tyree Henry. So yeah, those are your human characters. Out of all four movies, I've only cared about like three or four. Okay, so the first movie, can we all admit that the first Godzilla was boring? Now, when you finally got to see a monster fight, yes, it was cool. I'm sorry, that movie was slow. You kill off Bryan Cranston in like a half hour, and then the rest of the human characters are just boring. And then they cut away from fights until the very end because they wanted to reveal the fight at the end or reveal everything at the end. It's like, sorry, we've seen it. Give it to us, you know? Kong Skull Island, I thought, had the best development out of all of them. Especially, again, you had, two characters to really follow. And plus, Kong fighting everything was awesome. Godzilla King of the Monsters, at least they gave you a smorgasbord of monster fights. So I'll give that movie that. You got the action you wanted. I didn't care about any of the human characters in that one. Even Millie Bobby Brown, who I like. I didn't really care much about anyone in that movie. And again, that was the movie where we discovered that the humans in this universe are really stupid. And look, for this new one, nothing really changes. So yeah, I'm gonna spoil this movie. I sorry, but I'm gonna. So the setup for the movie. So I will say this: if you're wanting a recommendation, human stupid monsters punching each other, cool. There's your recommendation. Take with that what you will. And this, supposedly there's only two monsters left, two titans left. And apparently now they can track each other. I don't remember if that was a thing in the other movies, but they can track each other, and they've supposedly had this ages-old rivalry. And you have the story of a corporation trying to find this inner Earth where they're from. And they need Kong to help find this power source. They don't say why they want the power source. Of course, you can figure out that this guy is the bad guy. Damian Bashir should have just been twirling his mustache in this. The second you meet him, it's like, yep, he's the villain. And you they need Kong to lead them to this, but plus that brings out Godzilla, and Godzilla attacks a base for a reason. That, of course, that it's like, gee, I wonder if this company's hiding something. It's Damon Bashir's company. Gee, I wonder if they're hiding something. It's like, Godzilla's hurting people, and we don't know why. It's like, he's been hurting people for 2 other movies now. I'm sorry. I'm sure there were people in those buildings. That's one thing I can't stand about these movies. Like, he's the protector as he crushes thousands of people. Anyway. So this ticks Godzilla off, and also he feels that Kong is finally out of from Skull Island, and so he goes after him. Also, they introduce a bunch of new human characters. Alexander Skarsgård has theories about this inner Earth. Rebecca Hall raises this little girl that's the only girl that communicate with Kong, and apparently she's been teaching Kong sign language. Behind everybody's back. I mean, how you can hide, Kong learning sign language from a bunch of scientists is beyond me, but hey, whatever. Plus, you have Millie Bobby Brown's character tracking down Brian Tyree Henry's podcaster character, because she's going to discover why Godzilla is attacking people. And Julian Dennison is her friend in this. You bring in Julian Dennison, I'm like happy to see him, but then like every other good actor in these, they hardly give anyone anything to do. And they're going to discover, why Godzilla's attacking people. So they, just like in the last movie, the companies have crappy security, and they're able to just do anything they want and walk around till the plot needs them to get discovered. And they discover that they're building something, and being that, even if I wouldn't have saw the spoiler toy, I had a feeling it was one of 2 things. Look, I'm just going to say this. Again, humans stupid, monsters punching cool. That would be my 5-word review for this. So if you just want something dumb, this movie's fine. You got Godzilla and Kong punching each other, and you got another threat. Because here's the thing, the second I saw this movie was announced, and again, this is where I'm going to get spoilery here. The second I saw this movie announced, I'm like, gee, I wonder if this is going to be Batman v Superman, where the 2 are going to fight until there's a bigger threat and they have to team up. And my thoughts were either, especially with the end of King of Monsters, it's either going to be like somehow a genetically engineered or mechanically engineered Ghidorah, since they had the head, or it's going to be Mechagodzilla. And if you flip a 2-headed coin, you discover that it's, again, spoiler, Mechagodzilla. The humans are building them for good reason. I mean, granted, you've got evil mustache twirling Damon Bashir building this thing, and probably using not the most ethically charged way of doing it, but you've got them building a defense for Earth if there's other big monsters. Not a bad idea, but then again, it's probably not the most ethical way to do it. So yeah, you have Godzilla and Kong fight. You've seen the clips where they're fighting on the ocean. And then they just lift Kong up in the air and fly him out of there. So how Godzilla didn't track him down there, I don't know. This leads Kong to probably where, if they're going to continue this franchise, this is where they're going to go. It leads him to this, the underground inner world place, which somehow has sunlight. Never understood that one. Oh, and also has this gravitational thing that they need these special ships for. But once Godzilla blows a hole through the Earth to the land, then they can just travel through it freely. The movie doesn't really follow its own rules. But Godzilla does lead him to this power source. But then Godzilla finds this axe down there that was his, I guess. And it has like the scale, one of like Godzilla's scales, so it can like attract his blasts and make it more powerful. Anyway, him and Godzilla go at it again. Of course, one of them prevails, and here's where I could have swore it would have. This was so much like Batman v Superman. I'm surprised that Kong didn't go, "Save Martha!" Or I guess in the case of this, "Save Mothra!" But then Mechagodzilla appears, starts kicking the crap out of Godzilla. They defibrillate Kong with this magic ship, and then Kong goes into the fight. Then Godzilla and Kong proceed to kick the crap out of Mechagodzilla. And by the way, I forgot to mention how Mechagodzilla was controlled telepathically by the skull of King Ghidorah. But then so it like ends up taking over, and their science doesn't work. And it ends up like with a mind of its own. So I guess it's King Ghidorah's mind controlling Mechagodzilla. I don't know. It's like if a movie were to think that an Apple computer could control an alien ship that they've never, they could put a virus on an alien ship or something. I've never seen any. Look, there's dumb things in some of these movies, and this one was pretty dumb. But I would have accepted it considering all the other stupid crap or even dumber crap that was going on in this. Then again, you got Kong and Godzilla kicking the crap out of Mechagodzilla. But of course, they need the help of the children. And this is where Millie Bobby Brown's character actually becomes useful for 5 seconds and helps save the day. So I almost attune it to, in a way where, you remember where, I think it was the first Transformers movie, where the main character was able to help Optimus Prime take down Megatron. Well, I kind of associate that with this. But anyway, yeah, so then Godzilla's like, him and Kong kind of like, yeah, we're brothers now. And after they defeat Mechagodzilla, and they go off, and Kong goes and lives back underground, which, by the way, apparently is definitely easily accessed now, considering there's tons of people down there monstering Kong. And that's the end of your movie, and I couldn't stand it. Again, the monsters punching each other stuff is really cool. The effects are really cool, but it would have been nice, and even, I'm sorry, even though technically, yes, one does fall, that one gets back up again. It would have been nice to have them fight for a movie and actually have a clear winner. But of course, we got toys to sell, and maybe even another movie to have. So, yeah, it's hard for me to recommend this one. If you are going to see it, though, if you really want to see the monster fights, watch them at the theater. That being said, if you just want to see the movie and already have HBO, just watch it at home. But yeah, I would say Kong Skull Island's still the best one. Godzilla, the original's worse. This one, to me, I'd say is a little less entertaining than King of Monsters. Because King of Monsters had more monster fights, and that's the only reason. So yeah, it's hard to recommend. It's not any better than, at least two of the movies, I don't think. I'd put it near even with King of Monsters, though. It's not as boring as the original Godzilla, though, so that's a good thing. So yeah, that being said, it's really hard for me to say it's a must-see at the theaters or anything, unless you want to see the monster fights big. But anyway, that's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about Godzilla vs. Kong or Godzilla v. Kong, Dawn of the Monsterverse, I don't know, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I'm your host, the Real Gino Reynolds. See you later.